Hey, I ain't wearing any cowboy hat, I rock boots. Yeah. And I don't care where I'm at, I won't yell, I just shoot. Yeah. I said that I ain't wearing any cowboy hat, I rock boots. Yeah. And I don't care where I'm at, I won't yell, I just shoot. Yeah. Oh Lord, I think I'm about wit's end with all these internet gangsters in the way they pretend. I've been that trailer park king and I'll be him to the end. From Dade County all the way to run down South Bend.
Hey guys, welcome back to E-Bike Random Adventures. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Valtinsu EM5 electric dirt bike. This is a neat looking little dirt bike, guys. They got it all done up in this carbon fiber look with the plastics. It's definitely going to stand out when you compare it to some of the other dirt bikes in this class. This one does have a 2600 watt nominal, 3400 watt peak electric motor. It does have a gear reduction drive on it. It's supposed to let you take full advantage of the torque that this motor can offer. This bike does operate on a 48 volt system, guys. This one has the 23.4 amp hour battery. This battery can output 80 amps of max discharge. The controller on the bike is a 70 amp controller, so when you run the numbers on that, it does come out real close to their 3400 watts of peak power. So the bike is a little bit more on the compact side. It does have the 14-inch wheel setup in the front. It has the 12-inch wheel setup in the back, and the seat height is 28.3 inches, right in line with other bikes in this class. They do say it can fit riders up to 6'1". I am a 6-foot rider with 32-inch inseams. Let me swing my leg over, show you how it fit on the bike. Pretty easy to stand over, and since it does have a 28-inch seat height, I do have about 4 inches of space below me. This is a full suspension bike. When you sit down, it's nice and soft. It actually has a nitrogen-charged shock absorber in the rear, and it does have a hydraulic front fork. The front fork is pretty soft, guys. So riders that are 6 foot tall can definitely ride this bike, even though it's a little bit more on the compact side. It's still pretty comfortable to sit on. I can get my feet up here on the pegs. The EM5 does have the little colored G158 display. It does have 3 different speed modes, ranging from 16 miles an hour all the way up to 40 miles an hour. The bike will go 40 miles an hour unloaded. I do weigh 215 pounds, so we are going to take it out, see what kind of top speed it can get with a rider of my size. With this 48 volt, 23.4 amp hour battery, they do make a claim that this bike has up to 50 miles of range. That's definitely going to be riding on one of the lower power settings, guys, at some pretty slow speeds. If you are putting this thing in sport mode and getting out here and ripping around on it, you're most likely not going to get 50 miles of range. Another cool feature you get on the bike is you do get some large hydraulic brakes. They do have single piston calipers. The rotors don't have any numbers on them, but they look to be about 180 millimeters, and they look like they're about 4 millimeters thick. It does come with a bright dual beam headlight in the front. You do get a full twist throttle on this one, and it does have a keyed ignition down here in the center. You can take your key out. The key also works on the seat. Let me show you that. Put the key in the side over here. You can open this. You can lift up your seat. You can access your battery here. You can also access your nitrogen charged shock here. The battery is removable, guys, and it does have a handle on it, but it is bolted here to the frame. The EM5 does have a max weight limit of 287 pounds, and the bike itself weighs in at 125 pounds. There are no taillights or brake lights in the rear. You only get the headlight up front, and these brakes do have the electric power cutoffs on them. All right, guys, here's the 14-inch dirt bike tire setup in the front. These are 6C/100-14. The brand does say Carry Stone on them. They do have quite a knobby tread. Let me give you a look at the plastics here on the bike. Everything has this carbon fiber look to it. The front number plate does say Valtinsu, number 93. There's a look at your front headlight. Let me turn that on. You got 2 bright beams on that one. Let me show you all the other plastics going back. It does have a plastic cover over the motor. It does have a lower plastic cover down here at the bottom. That's a look at your controller up there, guys. It is a 70 amp controller. It does say Valtinsu back here in the rear, and then it tapers towards the back. This is where you put the key to open your seat. Let me open that seat for you. Inside here is where you have your battery access. The battery is bolted to the frame. There is a little space right here. You might be able to make some sort of a holder to hold something. There is a charging port directly on the battery, but there is another charging port externally over here on the side. It does take this 3-pin charger. This bike actually comes with a 4 amp charger, guys, so it's going to charge up pretty fast. This is where you can access your nitrogen charged rear shock if you need to pump that up. There's the numbers on the battery, 23.4 amp hours, 48 volts, max discharge current, 80 amps. You do have to pull this battery out to access the controller underneath. I am going to put some pictures on the screen showing you guys the numbers on that controller.
I said that I ain't wearing any cowboy hat, I rock boots. Yeah. And I don't care where I'm at, I won't yell, I just shoot. Yeah. Hey, I ain't wearing any cowboy hat, I rock boots.
Here's a look at the shock absorber. It does have a little mud flap over it. Let's take a look at the swing arm here. It does have the adjustments for the chain tension. Here's your hydraulic brakes in the rear, guys. You do get the same setup in the front. This is a pretty heavy duty set of brakes, guys. They do have these large single piston hydraulic calipers. The rotors look to be about 180 millimeters in diameter, about 4 millimeters thick. This is your 12-inch knobby tread dirt bike tire setup in the rear. This thing is pretty beefy, guys. The bike does have pegs on it, and they are spring-loaded. They can swing back. On this side, guys, everything is covered up, but the motor gear reduction is underneath here. There's also a 15-tooth sprocket in the front, a 420 chain going back to a 48-tooth sprocket in the rear. All right, guys, let's put the key in the ignition here. Fire this puppy up. You do get your color display. This is the G518 display. It does have 3 modes, 1, 2, 3. Have a large speedometer reading. This is your odometer down at the bottom. Let's see what else we can cycle through here. Trip, average, max, voltage, watts, amps, timer, back to odometer. So this does have quite a bit of functionality. That's nice. You do get your independent light switch on this side, and it does have the horn button right here. This is your hydraulic brake levers, and you do get rounded hand grips. These brakes do say HK, and they do say DOT. Over on this side, you do get the full twist throttle, and the front brake is over here on the right. Let me run this thing up for you unloaded. This is mode 3. It did run all the way up to 40 miles an hour unloaded. All right, guys, let's take this Valtinsu EM5 out for a ride. This dirt bike does have 3 different speed modes. Let's go through these modes and check them out. This is mode 1. All right, mode 1 is showing me 20 miles an hour on the onboard here. GPS is showing me about 17, so it's a couple miles an hour off here. There's 18, so about 2 miles an hour off. Let's put it in mode 2 and run it back the other way. Pretty big boost in acceleration on mode 2. All right, it's showing us 31, 32 on the onboard. Showing us about 26 on the GPS. So far the speeds are actually lining up with what they say on their website for mode 1 and 2. Yeah, on the website it shows mode 1 is 16, mode 2 is 25, and mode 3 up to 40. The onboard speedometer is running a few miles an hour higher though. We're gonna go back here, we're gonna put it on mode 3, we're gonna do the hill climb first, and then when we get up to the flat area, we will check out the top speed with a 215-pound rider on it. This is where we'll start. Let's go. All right, picked up the front wheel. Got some good torque. All right, it dropped down to 35 miles an hour on the onboard. Since the onboard speedometer is off a little bit, I'm gonna check how fast 35 is on the GPS. All right, 35 on the onboard puts us right at 29 miles an hour up the hill. That's way, way faster than any normal e-bike is gonna take you up that hill. Most of the e-bikes take you up that hill between 13, 16 miles an hour, and this brought us up there at 29 miles an hour. So this is a pretty quick bike up the hill, guys. I'm gonna run it back here now and try to see what kind of top speed I can get on the bike. Let's do an acceleration run first. I'm gonna have the GPS running here since the speedometer is just a little bit off. We'll see what the GPS shows for acceleration. GPS does lag a little bit behind, so it might take it a second to catch up. You gotta put the weight down on that front tire because it will pick up the front wheel. There's over 20 already. There's 30 already. So pretty fast acceleration. Let me check the top speed. All right, guys, I gave it a good long run there. It was showing 40 on the onboard. The top speed the GPS is showing for me on this bike is 35 miles an hour. It was showing 40 on the onboard. I'm gonna rev this thing up unloaded. That might be the overall top speed, guys, for anybody. Yeah, I believe 35 is the overall top speed on the bike because it only goes up to 40 miles an hour, even unloaded. So even if you were any lighter, I was up to 40 miles an hour on that run, so it's not going to go any faster than that. So GPS verified, 35 miles an hour is what I'm getting out of this bike, and I do think that's what anybody's going to get out of this bike. It does have that gear reduction on the drive, and this thing has good torque, guys. You can easily pick up this front tire without even pulling back, just on throttle it can. Yeah, absolutely. Torquey bike. You're gonna have no trouble doing wheelies on this thing if that's what you like to do. I've ridden 3 of these bikes lately, and I feel like this one has the most torque right off the line. In the 48 volt class of bikes. Of course, when you step it up to the 60 volt bikes and the 72 volt bikes, it's gonna have a lot more torque. I feel like this bike just runs a little bit smoother or something. Like it doesn't make as much noise and it just feels smooth on the acceleration. Brakes feel good, guys. The brakes can shut it down pretty well. I will do a full pull on those brakes when I get a chance here. Yeah, plenty of power on this little bike. Let's run it down the little trail here. Got a lot of dried leaves, so a little bit slippery. Gotta remember I'm on a dirt bike and the back brake is over on the left side. This thing can move, guys. This thing can move. Let's try it up the tough hill here. This is the uphill in the tall grass. Flying up the hill. Goodness. All right, this thing's got enough power to get a little scary, so ride safe, guys, ride safe. It's fun. Pretty smooth ride. I might have felt the suspension bottom out just a little bit a couple times. Other than that, it rides pretty well. I don't think the suspension is a problem or anything. It was just when I hit the real big bumps. And since I am a pretty heavy rider, so definitely not going to be a problem for lighter riders. Run it back up the hill again here. Yeah, guys, that's a lot of fun. What I'm gonna do right now is come right down here to the bottom of this hill right here. We'll see if you can get a view of it. We're gonna see how much power we got just to start straight from the bottom of the hill and go up here from a dead stop. Ready? Yeah. Plenty of torque, guys. Ran us up that hill from a dig. Let me cross over here today. You should really be wearing your boots when you're out here riding off-road, guys, because I've already hit a couple of these sticks. You run over these sticks and they fly up and slap you in the side of the leg. So really, if you're out here riding a dirt bike style, you should have your boots on. I saw something back over here. I want to see what it is. I think it's a dog shock collar. Somebody's dog is loose. Huh. Hasn't been out here very long. I'm gonna leave it here. They might find it. Actually, what's more concerning is there's a whole bunch of dog fur right here. I wonder if somebody's dog was took out right here. Maybe by the coyotes or something. Let me see if there's any teeth marks on that thing. No, I don't see any bite marks or breaks or anything. But you got the dog shock collar, and you got a pile full of fur. Unless he was using his claws to get that thing off his neck. All right, guys. Overall, so far, riding on this thing is a lot of fun. It actually has a real smooth ride. It's quieter. It's a little bit quieter than some of the other bikes. Some of the other bikes I've been on make so much chain noise, and they just sound like insane to me. This one runs pretty quiet. It's definitely got plenty of power, even for a heavy rider like me, and the suspension overall feels pretty good. All right, battery's still showing full after all that hard riding there. This thing does have a claimed range of 53 miles, guys. Of course, that's going to be down in pedal assist level 1, chilling out 15, 20 miles an hour, something like that. And that's going to be rider dependent, riding condition dependent, and all that. I do feel like the turning radius is slightly limited on this one. Like on this trail right here. Let's see if I can try to turn around. No, so you really can't turn around on this trail. You're going to have to do 3-point, which is fine. Just not the tightest turning radius I've ever felt. It's more than sufficient for when you're rolling though. Especially when you can lean into it. This bike's gonna be a lot of fun for some people, guys. A lot of cops around here, guys, and this is not California or Florida where the bikes are everywhere, so if they saw me out here on the street, I'm gonna be singled out, so I do gotta watch out. It's a lot easier to fly under the radar when there's thousands of bikes out and about. I don't think they could say anything to me over here, though. Jumped the curb pretty well. right, guys, this is where we're gonna do our brake test. Get up to about 20 here. I started right there, 2 lines back, so it took 2 full parking spots to stop from 20. Not too bad, guys. Considering this has knobby tread tires on it. If you had some supermotors on here or something, it's gonna stop a little bit better, grip in a little bit better. Well, the bike can jump a little bit, guys. I did get a little air there on one of the jumps. I'm not much in the mood to be flying off the ground today, guys, so I just did a couple light runs there. The bike can definitely do it. I actually woke up, came straight outside, started riding. I didn't even eat breakfast or anything. I do like the street manners of this bike. It does cruise and has a smooth ride on the road, even with these knobby treads. Just imagine how much smoother it's going to be with some supermotos on it. It's definitely a cruiser, and it doesn't mind going pretty fast. It easily cruises 25 to 30 miles an hour, no trouble at all. Like, it doesn't feel like it's being pushed at that speed. That just feels like normal cruising speed for this bike. It did top us out at 35, but it can easily cruise in the 25 to 30 range. This battery does show you the voltage sag, so when you are hammering at top speed, the battery does drop all the way down, but when you let off, it comes back up. I haven't been riding in a manner that would would get you long range, put it that way. But we're still doing pretty good. All right, guys, I'm gonna run this bike out, put a few more miles on it. When I get back to my area, I will give you my final thoughts on the Valtinsu EM5. All right, guys, I'm actually back out here the next day. My footage for the last part of the video got corrupted, so I got to come out here and film this again. I did charge the bike up, but I will show you what I did for range on the bike yesterday. When I started to ride, it had 6 miles on it, so I did run it up to 26 miles, which means I did put 20 miles of range on the bike yesterday when I was riding. The battery was completely dead when I got home. Right as I rolled into my house here, the battery started flashing and it started giving me low power. So 20 miles was the range I got out of the bike. Most of the ride was on level 3, riding pretty fast, between 25 and 30 miles an hour most of the time. So if you were to ride on level 2 or level 1, you could probably get significantly more range out of this Valtinsu EM5. 20 miles, I was out there ripping. I feel like that's a pretty good range for it, carrying a rider that's 215 pounds. The other thing is, if you are lighter, you're going to get better range out of this bike as well. One more thing about this bike and the range, it does come with a pretty strong charger, guys. It has that 4 amp charger, so if this thing's all the way dead, you can get this thing charged back up in less than 6 hours. I do feel that this Valtinsu rode a little bit more chill, a little bit more relaxed. It felt like it had better manners out on the road. I also feel like this one was just a little bit more quieter on the chain. Some of these things make so much noise. This one makes a little bit less noise on that chain. Overall, this Valtinsu EM5 is a pretty cool little dirt bike, a little mini dirt bike. If this is the bike for you, I will put the link for this one in the description below the video. Please hit like and subscribe to the channel for more e-bike, scooter, and dirt bike content like this. Really do appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you in the next one.